Hey YouTube, welcome back to Nita's Place. And today we're going to be doing a review of Love is Blind Season 5, Episodes 1 through 4. Okay? 1 through 4. I'm going to give a little short review. Well, as short as I can. And let you know how I think about this season so far. If you're ready for that, let's get into it. Nita's Place.
Hello everyone, I'm Anita. Welcome to my channel, where we review everything and see if we see things equally. Please help me grow this channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Hope you have lots of fun.
I'm just going to start my review. Most of the people who I mentioned, you don't really see most of episodes 1 through 4. They focus on certain to-be couples, and that's just where I'm going to go with that. Okay. Let's see. First of all, you have the different scenarios of people who really like each other, and I'm going to break those down. You have Izzy. He seems to like Stacy and Johnny. Okay. And yeah, Stacy and Johnny. And Lydia at first. Okay. Then you have Aaliyah and Uche. And then you have Lydia, Milton, and Izzy. Well, these are the couples, thruples. Okay. Until they figure it all out. Okay. This is what we have so far at episode 4. Okay. You have Taylor and JP, and you have Chris and Johnny. Okay. That's pretty much what we're going to go off of right now, because the other people haven't really, they haven't really shown the other contestants, a lot of them yet. Okay. Okay. We're going to get into what is Aaliyah and Uche. Okay. First of all, Aaliyah is an ICU nurse. Okay. Uche is a lawyer. They both have a love of poetry, speakeasy. I think Uche does speakeasy, and Aaliyah said that she wouldn't mind doing that either. And so they have that in common. Aaliyah's favorite movie is Love Jones. They both write poetry. So they have those things in common. Aaliyah told Uche that, you know, if she ever get married to him, that she wants her own woman cave. These are just things I remember off the top of my head. Actually, I'm not even following my notes on that. Okay, so Aaliyah seems to, you know, she seems like a nice woman, but she's also, I believe that her father was in the Air Force, so she's an Air Force baby. And a lot of Air Force babies, they never get a chance to form relationships along the way, because they're constantly moving. They're moving, because dad's got to move. He's moving and shaking. He's shaking and moving. Okay. And I believe that's the reason why she's so attached to Lydia. Okay. Let's just get that out the way right now. Okay. Yeah, it seems like she has that, you know, Lydia has that open, loud personality. She, you know, she's just loud. Okay. Spanking booties and everything, and everything else. So it seems like Aaliyah she like her personality, and, you know, they're seen like hugged up on couches under fleeces together, hugging each other, you know, just ooh, you know. So I preface that because, Lydia, you is nobody's fool. You is nobody's fool, and you is nobody's friend. Okay. But Aaliyah, you got to wake up, girl, because she's not your friend. She's there, and you can't turn your back on her. You cannot turn your back on her and Uche. I digress. So, like I said, they both love poetry, blah, blah, blah. They get to know each other in the pod and everything. Obviously, Aaliyah's smitten with Uche. I don't know. She was just like, you're my guy. She had that real early on. Okay. Really, really early on. Okay. And she mentions to him after she gets to know him and she really likes him, and they talk about marriage and things like that. And she mentions, once, a day, past relationships came up, and he had asked her, have you ever cheated? And she was like, once, no, 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 no. I don't even think he asked. You correct me, remind me down below. I don't even think he asked, but she volunteered. Okay. Volunteered. Okay. That she was unfaithful to one of her boyfriends a long time ago. Girl, why would you even say that? This is too early on to be talking like that. This is too early on to be, let them bones stay in the closet for a little while. Let them skeletons stay up in there. Okay, they at rest. Let them skeletons stay up in that closet until you get to know each other more. And then you can open the door and say, hey, here's my skeletons. You know what I'm saying? But you're still getting to know. What I'm saying is you're still getting to know him. And that wasn't for him to really know so early on, And we all make mistakes, okay? Everyone makes mistakes. And you can't tell me that Uche has not cheated on any of his girlfriends. But did he not play self-righteous, Mr. Self-Righteous, all up on his pedestal, talking down to her and making her feel shame of herself? I mean, that man made her feel like this tall, okay? And it's because of her openness and trying to be transparent. I don't blame her for that. I think that was really beautiful that she chose to open herself up. But obviously, he's holding the damn ace card in his hand. If you've seen it, you know what I mean. This mofo is holding the ace in his hand. Okay? All right. So anyway, who are you to talk down to me about any of my past, because it was before you. Okay? And I don't know what it is about, I've never personally dated an African. I talked to a few of them, but it never went anywhere because I just don't like the way that they sort of talk. It's something about them. Arrogance. They're arrogant. Most of the ones that I know, and including Uche and the one, what was his name? Him. Okay. They are very arrogant men. And I don't have that kind of personality personally. I know me. I'm not going to deal with you being, mean to me. Some of them can be very mean. They're arrogant. They're condescending. Not saying all. I'm not saying all, because I haven't seen all African men. There are probably some sweethearts out there. And please don't think that I'm speaking down about any all African men. But the ones that they have put on television in these seasons, okay? Oh my goodness, okay? I just couldn't deal with them. So anyway, I digress. JP so he goes back storming into the men's house. And, he's angry. He's like, oh, he's just really upset with Aaliyah. Oh, how could she be like this? He's just really pissed that she cheated on somebody a long time ago. So all the guys are sitting around the table like, okay, it's not like, at least she told you, right? Okay. At least she was transparent. Right? And then I remember JP said something like, yeah, man, yeah, you need to, JP talked to him. He said something to him. And then, all of a sudden he said, oh yeah, well, uh, I think I could get past this. Baby, you would have lost me at hello. You would have lost me at hello. Okay, so then Aaliyah goes to Lydia. She goes running back to the women's house, and she's upset, of course, because it's like this man didn't mean her, honey. He didn't called her everything but child of God, okay? And she runs into Lydia's arms. Oh, hold me, my friend. I'm reenacting, of course, but that's what it looked like to me, okay? And so she was like, hold me. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. But anyway. And so they cuddle and Lydia's like, you're a good woman. You remind me of me. You're me. You remind me of me. And you have the right, to say and do whatever you want to do, whatever she was saying. She was doing the whole girl talk thing, and everything. All the while she knew. All the while you knew, heifer. Okay? I just like, Okay. Let me say this much. Aaliyah is obviously smitten with Uche. And she forgives him. I mean, she forgives him. He forgives her. They go into the rooms. They talk again. They're back on a good accord. In the meantime, like I said, they have this, Aaliyah and Lydia have this relationship that they're building. It's like they're really tight. They're like this in the house, because basically Aaliyah, she says something like, so you'd be surprised with some of the other, attitudes and some of the other women, which I'm sure it's a lot of attitudes. Whenever there's a whole lot of estrogen in one room, baby, okay, baby, okay. Uche, Uche, Uche. Why you holding the ace? Why you holding the ace? And you didn't put it on the table. I digress. So they go into another talk, another session and everything. And Uche comes in, and one of the first things he says, you know what? As a matter of fact, I haven't been that transparent with you. And so Aaliyah's like, oh, okay. Well, what is it? And she's like, what is it? And so he's like, I haven't been exactly honest about, I haven't been exactly forthcoming, I should say, about meeting someone who early on in the pods, it happened to be someone who I had a previous relationship with. Okay. And it's Lydia. Aaliyah is like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Of all the women, why Lydia? Oh my goodness. And so she's hurt by that, of course. She's very hurt. It makes sense, of all the men, why would Uche be the one that Lydia had once had a relationship with? And, she's caught in the middle. And so she's really hurt. She excuses herself. She goes, cries a little bit. She comes back in. She's like, okay, I'm back. And so basically they talked it out, and she was sitting on the couch. She was like, well, I love you both. Basically, to sum it up, she's just like, hey, it really hurts. And I'm gonna have to have a conversation with her, I really need to have a conversation with her. And he's like, oh yeah, she deserves all the wonderful things. She deserves, Lydia, she deserves so much. She would be just a wonderful, loyal friend. And she's just like, yeah, I really like her and everything. And she's going to be the aunt to my children and everything like that. And he's like, yeah, you should keep her, right there in your corner and everything. I think that she makes a really good friend. She will make a really good friend for you. If she was that great, why you not with her? Come on, Uche. Why you not with her? If she was so great, why you not with her? Huh? So, basically, Aaliyah's like, okay, well, we'll work it out. I love you. I love her. She says her first. Mind you, she says her first. I love her and I love you. And we'll just work this thing out, We'll work it out. Okay, back to Aaliyah and Uche. So you mean to tell me all this time, Uche, you've been sitting on this, and you could have told her early on. And I'm sure, and the reason why I say that is I'm sure that during their conversations, because it's got to be a situation where there's a lot of conversation happening that, of course, we don't see. Okay, we don't hear, we don't see. Okay, and so you can't tell me that within those conversations that you had with Aaliyah, that Aaliyah did not mention Lydia. Okay, and Lydia is there. Okay, and you know how close she is to Lydia. Why wouldn't you tell her that long time ago? Because you and Lydia belong together. Y'all two birds of the same feather. Okay? She still likes Uche. I don't know if you guys peep it, but she still likes Uche. She really wanted to get to know him better. When they show the flashback, when we finally see the scene where they meet up in the pods, and they were like, wait a minute, is this Uche? And she started running down his whole name and all this other stuff, and he was like, oh, and she was like, oh, I like whatever the dog's name. And so then he was like, Lydia? And he's, oh, hey, and it wasn't like they was like, oh, hey, like, oh, hey, it was like they were happy to hear from each other. But then Uche was like, well, I don't think that will be very fair to the experiment. And I do believe that at that point, I think Uche just wanted to be on television too. He was just like, because at that point, if he really wanted to go further with Lydia, he would have been like, let's try to get to know each other more, because there's something there that, this man was praising her to Aaliyah. Okay. But in that, you may not have caught feelings as strongly as she did. She definitely caught feelings. And on the other side of the wall, and when he said, oh, I'd rather not go into, getting to know each other because it's not really good for the experiment, blah, blah, blah. She was just like, oh, like, oh, dad, I really, really wanted to. She was like, you sure? There's no way that we could just get to know each other, something like that. You sure you don't want to, look into this, try to see what this is all about? And then you saw like a little gloom come over her face, like, oh, okay. He's still just not that into me. Okay. So anyway, fast forward to when he tells Aaliyah about Lydia. And then Aaliyah says, hey, I love both of you guys. I love her and I love you. We'll work it out. Girl, you better than me. You are better than me. Because the first thing I would have thought, and the first thing I would have addressed with him would have been, well, I'm sure she's mentioned Lydia before. Because when you're that close to someone in the house and you have these other conversations going on with the guy, I know somewhere in there it's like, we know, who are you real tight with in the house or something like that. And at that time I would have been angry with them both. I would have been angry with them both because they both should have been very transparent with Aaliyah, because she's like the person in the middle. Okay? And so she doesn't see any of this. But this is all going on behind her head. All of this is going on. And they know about each other. They know they're there. They know they used to hook up. And all of this, she's in the middle of it. And she has no knowledge of it until, of course, he displays his ace on the table. And so she goes back into Aaliyah goes back into the house and everything. She's really sad and everything. And she sits on the couch, and but she goes ahead and she has that conversation with Lydia. And Lydia comes over. But before we go there, I don't know, right prior to that, Aaliyah, she was so happy about Uche and everything. And I remember it was one scene where she was in there on the couch with Lydia, and she was just talking about how wonderful Uche is, and Uche this and Uche that. And Lydia was like, and I was like, why is she doing that? I was like, why is she doing that? Was she being bitter? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, something ain't right. Something ain't right in the paint. And that had me start to think then. And I was like, why is she like that? Why is she keep like, and she was just like, and then she had almost like turned her whole body language had sort of turned, like away from Aaliyah for a while there. But Aaliyah didn't pick up on those little, subtle cues, Fast forward back to when she's having a conversation with Lydia in the house, okay, where she tells Lydia, I know. And then Lydia's like, and then she's like, I know, we didn't hold each other, okay, this is what they were doing, okay? I told you, and so then, she was like, okay, and then Aaliyah was like, okay, I'm good with it or whatever, I'll just, get to know him. I mean, are you sure there's no feelings or anything like that? She was trying to feel Lydia out, like, where she stands with Uche, as far as, their past and things like that. And then all of a sudden, didn't Miss Lydia start showing herself? Did her little joker just jump out? Her joker jumped out. Sure did. And the joker said, I know his dog. I know his friends. And you want to know anything else about him? You want anything else about? And Alika's like, no, I'd rather not know. I'd rather not hear anything else. And she just goes on, and this and that, and and it's just really making Aaliyah more and more uncomfortable. And she's just like, you can tell you can see she's slowly like, this is so not gonna work, okay? And I asked her, and even in the confession, she was like, and I asked her, hey, please, I don't want to know. But she's constantly, and I know this and I know that about him. And did you know? And oh, girl, and then he got and his favorite car, and this is his favorite car. And what color his car is? She knows so much about Uche. And she also said that they slept together like 3 months ago. That's when they actually ended it. Like 3 months ago, they had slept together. That's real recent. Uche, that's real recent. Okay? You gave the illusion or the feel that you knew her in the past years ago, like you just old acquaintance or something, y'all slept together 3 months ago. Okay, that made Aaliyah even more weary. It's like, wait a minute, he didn't tell me nothing like this, you know, because he was very vague with it. He was just like, I had a relationship with Lydia, you know. He really didn't go into it that much, you know. Of course, he sang her accolades and everything. The part where Uche goes back into the confessional because he's feeling better now, and he's got this off his chest, and he's thinking, you know what, I think I want to make her the one. I think she's the one. She's the one. And so then he goes into the confessional. He's like, hey, hey, are you there? Yeah. Girl. Aaliyah left. She's gone. Yeah. She left. Okay, you guys, we're going to finish up the rest of these couples really quick. And that's because, to me, the most interesting storyline so far was Uche, Aaliyah, and Lydia. The throuple. Okay? Now, there was a throuple with Izzy. Izzy is like a salesperson or something, and Stacy, I don't know what she does. And then you had Johnny. I know she's a lawyer. So anyway, long story short, Izzy always had the hots for Stacy. They grew in there. He said at one point, blah blah blah, and she's more on a serious, carefree, like more of a serious type of let's just go for it type of personality, whereas Johnny is more, he said that she keeps him calm. He likes her calm demeanor or whatever like that. So with Johnny is also in a throuple, well, a temporary throuple between herself, Chris, and Izzy. Okay, now she really can't make up her mind. One is safe, which is Chris. He's safe. Izzy is like, he sort of thrills her. You can tell there's like an attraction, a chemistry there, okay, that she doesn't necessarily get fully with Chris, but she likes Chris, and he's a safe option, okay. So she always played Chris safe, okay. And Johnny is a calm person, but at the same time, she's way up in her head, okay? She's an overthinker and a double talker, okay? Which some will compute to a liar, because right into it, Johnny kept saying to Chris, hey, you're, I like you, this, that, and other. Chris, she's his number one. Johnny is Chris's number one, okay? And that's the only one that he really, really got to know and really cared about and really thought that he had a connection with, okay? So she drew this guy along, she just drugged this guy along, letting him believe that even though early on, you're supposed to get to know people. So that's okay. But it seems as though these people are catching feelings really fast because it's only a 4-week program. So I guess, it's moving really fast because of that. And really likes Izzy, like I said. But Izzy eventually got to a point where he's like, you know what? Johnny, I'm going to have to cut you because I really have chemistry with another person much more than you. And she just about knew by then that it was Stacy. Okay, it was between her and Stacy. And the funny thing is that, she would come in the house sometimes and talking about Izzy and everything, and Stacy didn't say nothing. Do you hear me? She said nothing. She just listened, and she kept her lips shut. Okay? She says she's listening, and she's keeping her lips shut. Okay? So she knew all along that Johnny was in the running with Izzy or whatever, but she never told who she really liked. Okay? So I understood where Stacy's coming from. At first, I thought she was going to be she knew what she wanted, and she knew what her objective was. Okay? And she kept it there. And so basically, Izzy cuts Johnny. Johnny feels bad about cutting. In the meantime, before Izzy cut Johnny cut Chris because he was the safe option. He was just too safe, and she cut him, and she was just like, yeah, I've made another choice, to go forward, because at the time she thought Izzy was really digging her, and she thought she really had a chance with Izzy. And so now she's chewing on sour apples and everything. She's like, oh, damn, I chose the wrong one, and now I feel bad because I cut off Chris too soon, and because I thought Izzy was the one. I thought he was gonna pick me, and now I don't have nobody, and and so she went through the whole process of trying to get Chris back in her corner, as far as let's think about us again and everything. But by then Chris is like, you know what? I have let so many people in my past, ruin me. Now I'm looking out for me. Okay. And when he said that, I was like, come on, Chris. Come on now. Come on, Chris. Come on. When he said that, I said, come on. And so he sent her on her way for right now. Now that might change along the way, but I like the fact that he spoke up for himself and he chose himself. Okay, because when it's all said and done, you have to choose yourself. Okay, and Johnny just felt, she really feels like, like, oh, I lost two guys. She'll tell Chris, yeah, I really like you because I think Izzy's a safe option. Anyway, she was basically contradicting herself. Okay, and they spoke about it on the men's side, and they were like, hey man, they were talking to Chris, well, you make your choice with that. And that's before he made his decision to send her on to pause her, okay, and say, hey, I'm gonna think about me. Okay, now eventually they might get back together. So the next couple that we're talking about is Taylor and Jared, who goes by JP. He's a firefighter, and I forget what Taylor does. But anyway, they basically, liked each other from jump. Okay, they basically like each other from the jump. They had a lot of interaction real early on. They confessed their love to each other very early on, and JP was like, well, I would marry you right now. And she was like, oh, so anyway, they ended up getting engaged already. And when they had the whole reveal and everything, you just like, okay, what does this guy look like? What color is his hair? And this, then they gave each other a kiss. But I could tell, I don't know if you saw it, but I could tell that Taylor was like, you're nice and everything, but that kiss, honey, you're going to have to do better with that kiss. Because he's like he pecking her, like, I'm just like, and so anyway, you could tell that she kept trying to go in for kisses to see if it'll soften up or something. But anyway, those two are engaged. Okay, so they're with each other. All right. Okay, so then you have Izzy, and of course he chose Stacy. In the long run, he chose Stacy. And when they saw each other, they seemed to be, and it was funny when Stacy was like, I wonder what color his hair is or what he looks like. And I was just thinking to myself, well, Izzy doesn't have any hair, and then he kept on saying early on that he used to get teased about his head, which he has a natural head. I mean, there's nothing wrong with his head, but we all have things that we don't like about ourselves, okay? But, you just got to be thankful for what you get, okay? But, so when they saw each other, they were all, ooh, and they kissed and everything, and he had a beautiful ring. Honey, that ring was everything. I was like, that's a nice one. Yeah, you can get that on over here. Lydia and Milton, baby Milton. He's got a lot. He's a thinker. He's a deep thinker. In fact, one time he told Lydia, and while they were in the pods, that he didn't see himself living that long, and I just thought that was just so sad. you know. He's just like, well, he just feels that on himself. And I'm like, wow, you know, through the grace of God, he has a lot of years ahead of him. He seems like a nice young man. Of what I could see, he's really, really tall. And so he might have some kind of genealogy type of challenge or something that, you know, he's just not putting out there or whatever. But, you know, he said he used to be teased, and, you know, by him being more of a nerd or whatever like that, he was teased. Whereas with Lydia, she was just like, oh, you know, well, don't feel bad, you know, I'll be there for you and this, that, and the other. But will she? Come on, y'all, will she? Will she? Will she really be there for him? That's the question. And so that's something that I really, really struggle with looking at this relationship. They do go away. They go away together on these getaways. And baby, that's when everything hits the fire, okay? That's usually when everything starts to happen. You know, it's not exactly what you thought it was. So you guys, you know, I hope you enjoyed this review of Love is Blind, season 5, episodes 1 through 4. As soon as the new ones load up, I'll be back with another review. Please stay tuned, hit your notifications bell, and make sure you like, share, subscribe. Oh, hey Light, how you doing? Oh, it's Light, you guys. That means it's time for me to get going, girl. Okay? Because Light said it's time. And why are you pink? You pink? Oh, you pink because my top is pink. Oh, okay. And my glasses too. Okay, my glasses and my top are pink. All right, you guys. I hope you enjoyed. Love you. Peace out. Leave this place. Out.